Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Thunder, and today we're going to be working on making our world. So we're going to be making an island, we're going to be adding trees, grass, rocks, all of that. So first thing you want to do, go ahead and deactivate your player. So it should be like this. Go ahead and deactivate it so that this doesn't show up. So deactivate it. And then you're going to need the standard assets from Unity with terrain textures, grass textures, sand texture, rock texture, and I think dirt texture too. And you're going to go, and also comes with trees and grass, like the actual grass blades. So we're going to need all of that. If you don't know how to import that, I'm going to show you in a moment. Go up here to where it says window, then click on package manager, and over here just type standard and select the standard assets for Unity 2018.4. Don't worry if you have a older version, not older but more recent version like 2019 or 2020, it will still work. So just go ahead, and over here I already have it download, but it will show the download button, and once you have it download, just click import, and you should have it there. So first thing we're going to do, go ahead and select your terrain, click over here on the paintbrush, and go to edit terrain layers. This is how we add new terrain textures. Let's go ahead and do create layer, and let's look up the grass texture. Alright, there we go. That's gonna be your base texture. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna do the sand texture first, then I'm going to just add layer because I already created the grass layer. There we go. And then I'm going to create a new layer, which is gonna be the rock layer. Okay, we don't have a rock texture, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, next thing, if you want to resize your world to make it smaller or bigger, you can go over here into the settings, terrain settings, and down here you can see is 1,000 meters by 1,000 meters. Just change that value as you wish. Just going to go ahead and, alright, so that's my player right there. It's a big enough world. So next thing, go back to the brush, and we're going to select right here, raise. Actually, let's do set height first. Basically, the way set height works, it's basically just gonna raise the terrain up to a certain height, then we'll past that it will be all flat, so it won't go past that. Don't worry, it's not gonna be just flat. We're going to be making an actual island with mountains and all of that stuff. So over here you have multiple brushes. This one I'm not gonna use it because it makes things a lot how to say it, it's a lot less smooth. So we're going to have a lot of spikes on the edges of the island, and then we'll have to manually smooth it out, which we're going to do anyways, but it's gonna take longer. So I'm gonna use this one, but if you want you can use that one, it's up to you. Then I'm gonna raise the opacity all the way up, and then the brush size. Okay, never mind. Too much. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, and as you can see it doesn't go past 20 meters. So I'm going to go ahead and create my island. There we go. The next thing we're going to do is going to be paint it again. So we're going to put the grass textures all over it. So there we go, like that. And as you can see, if we get closer to it, let me just up the speed. You can see we have some beaches over here, and it's pretty decent. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is smooth everything out. Okay, I accidentally duplicated my terrain. Alright, there we go. So this is what I was talking about. You can see this right here that it looks pretty damn sharp. So we're going to go ahead and smooth that out. So in order to do that, let's go into here and select smooth height. Then just hold it a little bit and like move it around the edges. Let's just smooth it a little. It won't be that sharp. So yeah, opacity is all the way up. Alright, next thing we're going to do is going to be the grass. So let's go over here in this one, paint details, edit details, and add grass texture. Over here we have multiple settings, but we're going to disable billboard. The rest is up to you. Just modify the width of the grass blades, the height, and the color, which it's going to be in between these two colors that you put here, obviously keeping in mind the one it already has by default. And that's over here where it says non-texture 2D, hit on the dot, and we're going to look up grass, and you can select any one of these two. I'm going to select this one because it's the one that looks the nicest, so let's go ahead and do that, and then just click add. Also, if at any time you want to modify its height or whatever of its values, just select it, click on edit details, and click on edit, and there you go, you can modify it. So one more thing we're going to do, go back to terrain settings, and where is it? Okay, it's okay right here where it says bending. Just bring it down about 0.15. Yeah, that's a pretty good value. Okay, let's go back to paint details and start doing our grass. You're not going to be able to see it from far away, but once you get up close to it, you can see it. So I'm gonna do grass pretty much all over the terrain. Just see what, okay. I'm gonna select this one for this. I'm just gonna do some circles around it. Alright, there we go. Now if you get close to it, you can see there's your grass. Although its density is pretty big, and as you can see, it's bringing our FPSs down by a lot. So we're going to go into settings, and let's just bump down the detail density. I want to bring it about, that feels right. Alright, also you don't really have to do the detail density thing, because over here you can just change, not there, over here you can just change the target strength and the opacity, and you should be fine. But I'm gonna do it because I do want the grass to look like that. Also, I'm going to go ahead and give it more of a dead color, but you don't have to do it. So I'm gonna do something like, yeah, it looks better for me. Okay, so next thing, how do we do the trees? Basically just go into the tree icon, edit tree, add tree, and over here just look up tree. Actually no, it should be conifer desktop, this one right here. Don't worry, it doesn't look like that. Now just click add, and there you go, you got some trees. Although I'm not gonna use that opacity for it because that's way too many trees by each other. So I'm going to lower the density to like 25. That's better. But I'm gonna lower it even more. That looks better. I'm gonna make some forests, and then we'll give it some difference on the ground, because a whole island that looks totally flat is not too realistic. I'm gonna add a couple of trees right here on the outskirts of the forest, and then I'm gonna go over here, add a couple more forests. There we go. Alright, next thing. Let's go ahead and click on the paintbrush, and let's select something like, let's select this brush right here. Then what we're going to do is, instead of smooth height we're going to use raise or lower terrain. But I am going to lower the opacity, and then let's just, like move it around like that. So we give some unusual shapes to our terrain like this, because otherwise it doesn't look too realistic. And don't worry, your trees and grass will adapt to your terrain, so it's not an issue the fact that you're modifying it like this. I'm gonna bring it up more over here, and then let's go ahead and go back to smoothing. I'm gonna choose this brush, bring the opacity up, bring the brush size. Okay, no, not that much. Yeah, it looks pretty fine to me. Even more opacity just to make it quick. If you really want to make a good looking game, there's a lot of more ways to do this. Just put time into it, learn about level design, learn about how it works, and just make sure that you're doing something good if you want to make an actual game that others can play. So let's go ahead and save it, and let's just get up close and see how it looks. So you can see already here that we have some irregularities on our terrain, just how real terrain would look. Okay, my FPS are hurting. And don't worry, my PC is not that high end, so that's why I'm having this issue. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the detail density really down, but you don't have to. Yeah, that's better right there. There we go. Also, I'm gonna do the same thing for the tree density. Okay, that looks a lot better. Well, it doesn't look a lot better, but my FPS are not that low. So next thing we're going to do is create a small mountain. So let's go ahead and select our terrain. Select raise or lower terrain. Also, if you want to know how to lower your terrain, all you have to do is hold shift and it will bring it down. As you can see, there we go. So that can be useful for making things like lakes and all that stuff, but I'm not going to be making any of that. So I'm going to lower my brush size. Again, not that much. And I'm going to select something like this. This same brush will do. I'm going to go ahead and do this right here, like a small mountain. Then we're going to go ahead and smooth it out. So smooth height, and just bring the brush size a little bit up. There we go. Next, let's give it the mountain texture. So let's go back to paint textures, and I'm going to go ahead and import a rock texture. If you want a rock texture, all you really have to do is type on Google seamless rock texture or like seamless rock cliff texture, and you will be able to find hundreds of those that you can use. All you have to do is drag it into your project and then just click create layer and select the texture. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that quickly and I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, so I already dragged my textures in. I just put it on standard assets right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and create the terrain layers. So create layer, rock, and right here it is, rock cliff. And I'm also gonna create another one which is going to be the dirt one. Not dirt, grass, it should be that name. It's this one right here, which is like a mix between rocky dirt and grass, but it really looks like just dirt. And this one comes with the standard assets of Unity too, so you'll have it by default. And what I'm gonna do is first I'm going to go ahead and go into the forest, and I'm going to just smoothly add this so it looks blended. So in order to do that, we need to do one thing. Go over here to opacity and bring it down to about 15 or so, and make your brush smaller. And then just select whichever brush you want over here. I'm gonna do not that one. Let's do this one. So I'm going to go ahead and like just click through it, just small clicks, and same over here, just small clicks. This is going to make it look a little bit more natural, but still it's not gonna look photorealistic, so don't expect that. We're using this standard render pipeline of Unity, which pretty much gives you like 2015 to 2016 graphics. So it's not gonna be that big. If you want real good graphics, just go with the HDRP pipeline. Although I won't be covering that on this tutorial series, so you're on your own with that. So I'm going to go ahead and reactivate my player. I'm gonna save this scene because I don't know if my PC will blow up with this. Let's hope it doesn't. What the hell? Okay, so going into this, because this is from the Unity standard assets, which comes with a lot of scripts. I'm just going to go ahead and delete the entire utility folder because we won't be needing any of those scripts. So just go into standard assets, select utility, and just delete it, because those scripts are pretty much useless. And same thing with all of these scripts. Go into standard assets, particle systems, scripts, and delete it. And we're gonna do that for all the scripts that we get errors for. So same thing here. Let's just delete the characters folder actually. The reason we're doing this is so we don't get any extra scripts that we don't need. Also, something I didn't think of on the beginning of this tutorial series is we could have just gone with the Unity character controller, which technically it's a lot better and it eases our work a lot because we don't have to code our own player movement. But honestly, I prefer to do the code by me. I'll code done like that, because otherwise, if let's say we wanted to make it so if we're at 0 hunger, we cannot run or something like that, it would be pretty hard to do with someone else's code. So it's better when you write your own code because you have total control of it, over it. Sorry. And you know where everything is, where you have to tweak the code to make something different. And I can tell you that because on my own game, I tried making the game I'm making started as a Rust Legacy remake. And before I tried using a package back on like 2016, nobody knew about it back then, gladly. But the thing that happened is I was using the Ultimate Survival package, which is not available anymore, but if you bought it, then you have access to it still. But it's pretty much like a Rust clone package. And I was using that, just tweaking models, tweaking animations, all of that. And every time I wanted to go ahead and add something, it was hell. So, for example, the package came with the weapons, they just had durability. There was no ammo count, there was nothing like that. You could shoot until the weapon broke. That was your ammo. And I was watching some tutorials from a guy who shows how to add ammo. And even by watching a tutorial, it was really hard just because of that fact, that I didn't know where things were. And then I tried adding a radiation system. Again, I did that by myself. It was hell. It was really hard to do and really annoying. So that's why I prefer to write my own code. So in this case, you guys are writing the code out and you know what you're doing. Okay, I'm just gonna walk over there and then we'll move our player there. Alright. But yeah, as I was saying, it's a lot better to write your own code. I'm not saying don't use assets from the asset store, because it's really helpful. Usually I just use it for things like visual effects like fire or some things like that. And maybe some things for like shaders for clouds, all that stuff. But that's pretty much it. That's all I use it for. So as you guys can see, there is my trees. You cannot see the grass because I'm pretty sure I disabled. Okay, it's over there. Yeah, as you can see, there's the grass. Over there is the trees. And it's a basic world. We're going to go ahead and add watering in a moment, although there's not going to be any swimming. And most likely that will be the last tutorial I make, because it's not something vital for this game. But yeah, as you can see, there's the trees, we got the grass, we've got that over there. And in case you want to know how to delete trees, all you have to do is select the brush, hold shift, and just click through what you want to delete. And that's how you do it. Which I'm really going to delete these trees because it's bringing my FPS down. The reason is I'm on my laptop, I'm not on my desktop PC. So this is a really low spec laptop. But yeah, there you go, you have a basic world. I'm gonna go do one last thing before I finish the tutorial, which is add the rock texture to this, and I'm going to give you guys a advice for mountains. So as you're going to see in a moment, okay, first let me just get rid of the grass. Remove. And I'm going to remove a couple of trees. Actually, I'm going to remove them now and then add them. So for mountains, just the texture, it's going to look kind of bad, to be honest. So I'd recommend you guys actually use rock models for that, because that's going to make it look a lot better. And it's going to look a lot more professional of a game. So that's my personal recommendation when it comes to mountains. So you do rocks like if they were cliffs and all of that stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this right here, delete these trees, just leave a smaller amount of them. I'm going to go ahead and save it. And now I'm going to just go ahead and add my paint texture, paint it over here, just over the mountain. And I'm also going to show you guys one last thing. So over here, you can see that the texture is pretty small, and you can notice the repetition of it. So select your texture, your layer, and go ahead. Okay, yeah, select it and go down here. And where you see size, just increase it. I'm gonna do 10 by 10. And there you go, it looks a lot better like that for a mountain. But again, this is what I meant. It looks really flat, really bad. You should add some rocks that go all the way up here and that actually form a mountain. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial, guys. Again, this was a totally optional tutorial, but I did wanted to show you guys how to make an actual world so that you can actually create your game more, that it's easier to create your game. But that's it for this tutorial. If you guys liked it, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. It always helps. And I'll see you guys in the next one.